they were denying on television, live television, that she had no other problems, medical or otherwise, when I know for a fact that she had a disease called lupus, which she herself told me she had. But these anchors on the TV are saying, see, here's the blood test and there's no depression, no lupus. I said, you can't find depression through a blood test. You can't find. Lupus is a very crazy disease, autoimmune problems you have. And I know some people who have it, and Sunanda had told me herself, and she said the doctors are actually suspecting, and I was not the only one. Major news anchors and a famous dancer were told by her and a gentleman in Goa that she has lupus. So I was not the only one saying it.
So people were suppressing that to implicate Mr. Tharoor?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot imagine. Tharoor is a gentleman, and he was a year my senior in Stephen's College, by the way. Great looking guy. He looks like the elder brother of Aishwarya Rai, or he could be the father now. So yeah, wonderful man, and he's a gentleman. And of course, it was their third marriage, his third as well, whatever. Things didn't work out. Things happen. When you are married, things happen. It was their third, so they knew what was going on, whatever. And she went through her problems. And I knew her well enough for her to tell me all this. And she has a son in Dubai who had some speech problems, and I had some as well. So she said, how did you work it out? I said, I'd be happy to help your son when he comes. And I even told her about the Vipassana thingy. I said, you go for Vipassana, that'll help you to whatever stabilize maybe, and it's very effective. She said, what if my BP goes up and down here? I said, I'll go for the Vipassana course as well, and if you need anything, I'll help you. Though they have volunteers there to help you for anything you need. Okay. But 6 months later, she was gone. But everybody knew she was, and she was in a rather odd way.
Was it a life-threatening ailment, you feel?
It is very difficult to deal with. I know another lady who has it, and she's the wife of a friend, and it's not easy. It's a kind of a various thing. And she was also going through other stuff in her head.
No, what complicated matters, Nasir Saab, is that there was another woman in the mix.
Yes.
There was a Meher from Pakistan who wrote
the journalist.
emails, the journalist who, because of which this all became like a huge saga of how, she was pushed into it, and there's a abetment to suicide. All of that came in.
Yeah. So she was on heavy medication, that much I know anyway. There's another gentleman who on a newsky channel said that he saw her having a handful of stuff, medications. I don't know how many, they were like over a dozen or 20 of them she was having and stuff. So she had problems. She had
and these issues aggravated, you feel, or those were not really?
Yeah. Now, here's the deal. You mentioned about the other lady, which can be a huge, like a reason and a cause for things to spiral out of action. I agree. But unfortunately, this is how it works out. So all she had to do was move on. But she got very upset about a few other things. She was very upset about something to do with the IPL thing they were involved with, and that got sidelined. So she was upset about being used as a front and about not getting her dues or money. And I was thinking, you are married to the External Affairs Minister, for God's sake. You don't need all this, really. Let it go. Whatever it is, So I was a little disappointed in her reactions, but the fact remains, it's not easy to tell because women are more sensitive in all these issues and they can get very uptight. They're accusing Mr. Tharoor of having orchestrated her, elimination.
Drugged her and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think so. Mr. Tharoor is a gentleman. It's just that he did not give enough attention to her condition, which was worsening due to other things. So
to that extent, he may be blamed, you are saying. It's not like one has to
not blamed. So you can't blame a person for not having seen the signs, because I couldn't see many signs in my family of other people having a problem. I had a sister who had a problem. I couldn't see anything because we are all in our own thingy. So it takes a lot of the time. Only when things get very sticky, then you realize, oh my God. So all I know is that maybe, if at all she was eliminated or something like that, maybe Mr. Tharoor knew about who could have eliminated her because there were other vested interests whom she was threatening to expose. Apparently, that's what she was saying, and giving sort of threats to Mr. Tharoor as well, that Mr. Tharoor, you're finished, or some such thing. But I thought it was all an exercise in futility. But the truth of the matter was, she was in a rather bad, negative emotional state. And they
But here is something interesting you said. You're saying you're not entirely ruling out the possibility of her being eliminated by vested interest. Did I get you correctly?
There is a possibility, but it's very, very distant. She was on the verge of a collapse, because I heard from assistants on other TV channels who had gone to meet her to fix up a program and all that. And one of them said she looked like terrible. She looked like completely out and drained out and haggard before she died. So things were happening. She was sick, and she was also getting emotionally sick. And I think she had a bit of a psychosomatic also problem, because she told some people that Mr. Manmohan Singh, at that time he was the Prime Minister, and George W. Bush, they called her to ask her how to rule the country, their country. So that was a bit much. That she said, because I heard this from distinguished people who would not lie. But they didn't want to be on TV to say it, because they don't want to dance in front of the TV. So they didn't want. But they told me there was a problem. And because the problem was so strong, I believe, and she, when you also mix it up with drinking and stuff, red wine, whatever, how much ever, and you take sleeping pills, etc., it can lead to you into a very deep sort of chasm, an abyss. That's the word. Well done. Thank you.